Welcome back. I'm talking about the unit circle again and how I remember what values are what. So the unit circle, as you can see, it's pretty big. There's a lot going on there. I break it down to its basic pieces. When I think about the unit circle, I think about quadrant 1. Now, if we think about our quadrants, here's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now my signs, in quadrant 1, positive, positive. In quadrant 2, it's negative, positive. In quadrant 3, negative, negative. And in quadrant 4, positive, negative. So now, also at my axes, I'm at 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and 0, negative 1. I actually have a little note card that I have with me just to help me remember what my values are. Now, like I said, I only care about quadrant 1 for the most part, because as soon as I know my values in quadrant 1, I can figure out what it is just based on what quadrant my angle is in. So what I do is I think, all right, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. So that's going to be my pi over 6, my pi over 4, and my pi over 3. Now my coordinates every time for pi over 4, it's always going to be a root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. For a pi over 6, it's going to be a root 3 over 2, 1/2. And for my pi over 3, you just switch the locations. It's going to be 1/2 for the x and root 3 over 2 for the y. I use those values often. So it's also helpful to know that tangent, my tangent values. Instead of doing all the work of dividing each time, every time I have a pi over 6, my tangent is root 3 over 3. Every time I have a pi over 4, my tangent's always going to be 1. And every time I have a pi over 3, my tangent's always going to be root 3. So keep in mind, my sine of theta is going to be my y coordinate. My cosine of theta is going to be my x coordinate. And my tangent of theta equals y over x. It's the sine over the cosine. But if you remember these values, that it's pi over 6, it's always root 3 over 3, you don't have to keep calculating it every single time. Now, some other common things to know is when we're working with the secant, the cosecant, and the cotangent, they're reciprocals. So think about our reciprocals. Our reciprocal of root 3 over 3 is root 3. The reciprocal of root 3 is root 3 over 3. They go together. The reciprocal of root 3 over 2 is 2 root 3 over 3. That's the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. The reciprocal of 2 over 2 of root 2 over 2 is root 2. Those are important reciprocals to know because we're going to be using those commonly. So that helps me. As soon as I know what my values are in the first quadrant, I just have to think, where am I on the unit circle? Which quadrant am I in? And then go from there. Another helpful thing to know is that our tangents are undefined along this y-axis, and my cotangents are undefined along this axis. And actually, it reminds me, the reciprocal of 0 is undefined. And the reciprocal of undefined is 0. It goes vice versa. Okay, those are some tricks I use. I would strongly recommend you make a note card with this information on it. It's going to be very beneficial moving forward to make your life easier. All right, thank you and have a nice day.